Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Wicked Parley. I am your host, Justin, and this is my fellow co-host, Rose.
Hello. Oh, my voice cracked right then and there. Goodness gracious.
Hey, those things happen. So, what are we going to be talking about today, Rose?
We are talking about video games. Woo!
All right, video games, yeah! All right. So, let's go into the first thing of what we're going to be really discussing.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna go over from what I understand, we're gonna go over a couple of the genres, just a couple of them, because there's way too many for my poor brain to handle right now.
So many genres.
So many. So we're gonna show a couple of clips of what we consider to be part of these genres, and we're gonna talk about them.
Yep.
For the most part.
And also for the viewers at home, since we know that Wednesday is a middle of the week and we thought this might be kind of fun, there might be a tournament of sorts, a testament of champions perhaps, a tournament of absolute power in the form of Tetris. And if the winner of the Tetris tournament so chooses, they can suggest the next episode. So hopefully we get some people in the chat who want to participate, and we'll see what happens. So,
yeah, let us know. I can have a room open and we can actually show the Tetris match on the screen.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
I wish I could participate because I love Tetris, but I need to concentrate on other things.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Playing while we're discussing something.
I may summon my champion.
No.
The mighty and fierce
Alright.
Rose.
So, let's take a look at the first genre we're going to be discussing today, which is, if I can get the right screen here. There we go. Let's see, MMORPGs.
Oh boy, who hasn't played a good MMORPG? I mean, I'll tell you this now. And it might surprise people, but the answer is to this for me is no. I have not actually played an MMORPG, at least we'll say a popular one. I'm not sure what sub-genres that are interconnected to that actually are, but I haven't actually played any of these. However, our lovely co-host Rose has, in fact, played several. So what can you tell us about this particular genre?
So, MMORPGs is, well, the first part is MMO, Massive Multiplayer Online.
Okay.
So, they're more RPGs that can be done online with a bunch of people playing from all over the world.
Okay.
And there's usually a story involved. It's not like a fight-for-all tournament or battle royale, although there are some aspects of that. But players are typically, they choose a character or they create a character and go through a storyline, which is, and can be done either solo or in groups of people called parties or guilds.
Interesting. Would you have a clip that can kind of demonstrate for those who maybe aren't so familiar with this genre?
We've got two clips at the moment. I'm hoping I get them correct here. One of them's from World of Warcraft, and the other one is from... Where did I pull this? My memory's terrible.
I know for a fact that I've definitely heard of World of Warcraft. I mean, Ozzy did a commercial for it.
Yeah, so let me
so
just...
Mr. T.
So, as before, any YouTube videos we use, any pictures we use, any articles we use are going to be placed in the description after the live stream's over, so that you can go ahead and check out these awesome YouTubers.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we're just beginning, but some of these guys have thousands, if not millions of views, so clearly they know what they're doing. So
yeah. So the first clip is from World of Warcraft, so here we go.
Looks so weird.
And you've got a little pet, like, right here.
Yeah, I mean, like, my head's kind of covering up
The
like
graphics
this.
are a little... Okay, so we're just going to play a couple seconds here.
Okay. Alright, this person's walking. Ooh, there's a deer. I want to kill the deer.
Yeah, there's a deer, and you can interact with the world.
That's
and
clearly the angle we were looking for. Yeah, that was the angle. That
yeah,
makes
and then
sense.
there's, like, NPCs and quests to do and whatnot.
Person's kind of dancing around. Look at that tiger. It's got a saddle, like, just built in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So when they're born, they're like, we're
I'm pretty
born
sure that's
to be ridden.
some sort of mount. So that's the first clip. The second clip is a really, really old game. Really old.
Oh, hold on, how old? Oh my.
RuneScape.
That's old.
Old-fashioned RuneScape.
What the hell? Look at that. Like, what the hell? Is that menu looks like it's like from like a dinosaur's computer.
Mm-hmm. It's a really old game, and they've like redone it, but there's like a site and an app that is specifically for this old version.
Ah. Oh, okay. Oh, a little too far here. I know what that is. Hi, Cortana!
Gonna deal with that one later. I made a mistake there.
I'm so sorry when we get to that one.
Alright.
So, what's the deal when it comes to these particular kind of games? I mean, okay, that's World of Warcraft. That's
yeah, so it's just a picture to have in the background.
All right, like so. Sorry, I keep on talking over you. There's like a lag.
No,
or
you're
something.
good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say is that I mean, look at this crazy picture. They got like the lady here, right? Like that's the immediate draw. But then there's this badass dwarf with what only could be imagining is some sort of cannon. It's like the art that goes into some of this stuff is just fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, one of the main things about sorry, I just looked at the chat here. One of the main things about MMORPGs is they're supposed to look aesthetically pleasing in order to gather as many people as possible, such as like one of the more cutie aesthetics are MapleStory. That one's kind of adorable.
So let me get this straight. So they're just with World of Warcraft, they're appealing to the inner horny teenager in all men. And then for what the other game is referring to is referring to the purity of all young women. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm basically hearing?
Based on this one, I can see why you think it appeals to that, yeah, but it's just like, those were just clips of World of Warcraft. There's obviously like different versions of the game.
I mean, like, go back to that. Go back to the first video. All right? Yeah, because I think there's something important we got to kind of look at there. You know? I think there's a very important thing.
Let me go and grab that link again.
Okay, all right. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. It's taking some time. All right, chat. I'm not sure if you're there or if you're not. Okay,
here we go.
So yeah. So also, so before we go there, look at this. Look at the angle of the shot. Okay, just rewind that for a quick second. Quick second. Just go back, just a little bit more. Just go back a little bit more. Yeah, right there. Look at how look where he pans. Look where they pan. He keeps on going. Right. Yep. See right there. You're telling me, horny teenager, that's not what's going on right there.
That is not the only game where that is possible.
I'm sure it's not, but I'm just saying like that seems kind of hilarious. Anyways.
Yeah, that's part of the appeal and what they go for sometimes. That's part of the marketing strategy for a lot of these games.
So you're saying that the marketing strategy for video games is sex appeal?
Some of them.
Oh my god. Shocking.
Don't get me started.
I would have never guessed. My mind is blown.
Okay.
Anyways.
But yeah, I think so you say you haven't really played a lot of MMORPGs.
No.
Have they just did they not draw your attention or something like that?
Okay, I just want this to be understood by my entire audience.
Okay.
I very recently got a PC capable of playing games on. Most of my computers are bare bones, we could barely type up an assignment for a class. Not strong. Also, I'm mostly a console gamer, and so that's kind of where I live and breathe. I'm terrible at typing, and so if it uses a computer to move, it's that's going to be tough. So, I mean, hey, it's not for everybody, and I am, I'm learning about the wonderful world of gaming on PC, and I've been, honestly, surprised. It's very, very fun, from what I have to tell so far. But yes, no, I've not actually dipped my toe into an MMORPG just yet, but I have been nudged by individuals who will go unnamed to potentially play other such online games.
Yeah.
So, is there any messages in the chat?
Yeah, we've got a couple. Here, let me, wrong window.
Yeah.
Not that. Here you go.
Okay.
We've got a, hi Kyle, hi host, hi Zephyr, hello Matthew. Ooh, you're playing Halo right now.
Okay.
Let's see. We've got a couple of people who remember RuneScape, shortened to RS.
Okay.
About the about the horny teenager aspect. Sounds about right. It's a marketing strat for lower end MMOs, according to hosts.
Okay.
Oh, Aaron, find a video of a dwarf and tell me how that's for a horny teen.
I'll tell you exactly how. I'll tell you
Oh.
exactly how. Because horny teenagers come in all shapes and sizes. Don't discriminate.
Oh my god.
Alright, so since we seem to have enough people in the chat, I think it's important now to be representative of the next thing in which I want to bring to everyone's table, and that is Tetris. There will be a champion tournament. Tournament held right now, in fact, where a code will be sent to the chat where everyone can participate in Tetris in a tournament setting. The winner of the said Tetris match shall have the right to choose one topic for the next week's episode. So next Wednesday, the winner will get to choose what topic we will be covering. Should you dare to take the challenge, I am eager to see who wins. And hopefully it won't be a bloodbath, because after all, it's just blocks that are descending.
Alright. So,
Do we have any other wonderful chats?
we do have one. We've got a comment from Sam Fisher who says, the only quote good MMO I've played, because they don't care for them too much, is the Star Wars MMO.
Okay, I haven't played that, but that definitely sounds closer up my alley, if I'm being honest. Star Wars. Who doesn't love Star
just
Wars?
like-
I mean,
MMORPGs are great if you want to just kind of place yourself in a fantastical setting with other people. Like, obviously there are fantastical solo games, but if you want to interact with other people, join parties, guilds, meet people online, MMORPGs are kind of good for that if they've got the capability of handling that.
for
Like,
sure. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm sure that there's great MMORPGs out there. I just haven't played them. Hopefully, somebody figures it. Like, I don't know. In the chat, if anyone has ever seen a good one or played one and they think, oh yeah, this is great, email us or send us a message on Twitter, and I'll check it out. And then,
Oh, yeah,
and then I'll
didn't
let everyone know, like, the ones I checked out and what I thought about them.
Oh yeah, didn't we want to plug the other thing,
Which other thing?
Our other potential channel in the works?
No.
No?
We'll leave that for later.
You want to leave that for
Secretly,
later?
there's another channel in development.
Yeah. Aaron's put it into better words. One huge part of the MMO is the social aspect.
Yeah, I mean, who needs people, right?
Oh,
Josh.
you.
I'm
Alright, horrible man.
Whoa! That's a little strong. Horrible? Me? I mean, only maybe a little bit. Maybe on Wednesdays. Alright, so what's the next one? I already know what
Genre?
the next one is. I
Yeah,
already know.
sure.
Yeah.
We can talk about... here you go. First-person shooters.
Okay, so I may have played a few first-person shooters in my life. When I say may, I mean like most of them.
Should I go ahead and play a couple of clips before we talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Let's throw a
Yeah.
few clips on there. I mean, it's
So
always
the
nice to see Cortana.
First one is from Halo. I gave a little sneak preview because I didn't click out of it fast
Yeah.
enough.
Shocking. Hi, Cortana.
So, just a...
Brought to you
So
by
just a
the
couple of-
Melee and the Super Soaker 5000.
Super Soaker 5000, goodness. So, yeah.
Oh my god!
What?
I think I know that. Do you know what that is? That's the iPad 400.
Oh my, okay.
Oh my god,
get
there
it
it
out
is.
of here.
Okay, alright. No.
Another one is also pretty well known, Call of Duty.
Oh my god, COD. Old school COD. So
Old,
school.
yeah, Call of Duty Classic is this one. You walk around, you've got your gun, you got your sights, and you murder.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
You know, I hope everyone likes to lay on the floor.
And then here's the last one for this genre.
Oh yeah, this is my
This is
my
your
bread
baby.
and butter right here.
This is your baby.
Oh yes. Oh yes. This is destiny. And goodbye, Vex. Just get murdered. Just get murdered. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Okay.
Alright, so You say you've played like a good majority of them.
Oh yeah, I've seen
What
and
makes
played
them-
many.
Yeah. What makes them so good in your opinion? Like, what appeals to you about them, and what could that appeal to like other people in general?
Okay, well, I would say the first thing is that most of them, not all, but the vast majority are pretty easy to come into. All right, you can just kind of pick it up and play. It doesn't require a huge level of skill. It's like kind of like if you've played one, you can kind of get a feel how to play others. And so, to me, it doesn't have a lot of difficulty to entry kind of thing. The other thing that I think is kind of nice about them is that a lot of them are really similar. I mean, granted, they're probably designed by the same group of individuals, so that might be why. but there's a lot of familiarity with all the different things that are involved. Like you typically, if you're playing a first-person shooter, most people are familiar with the concept of a grenade, and usually the concept of like a throwing knife or something akin to it. And so those are kind of represented in all forms. And then there's also like the melee and then some sort of movement that seems to be pretty much similar across the board. So, I mean, that's what I would say is the initial draw. And I think you could say something to the effect of the community. When I was younger and I played Halo, I loved, I guess you would call it being toxic. Where I would totally, absolutely dunk on somebody and then just send them like a silly message to get them angry and start a war of messages back and forth. That was the way I spent a lot of my teenage years. And then, honestly, when it comes to Call of Duty, I never talked to nobody. So that was really that sort of thing. And when it came to, I mostly played just zombies. I mean, everyone who's ever played Call of Duty, like, they're familiar with zombies. And at least I would say a lot of people are. And zombies just kind of like, because like you just go there and just kill for hours, just destroying huge numbers. And then for Destiny, though, I really like Destiny because of the community. I mean, it's definitely like a come and talk to people, you know, meet friends. I definitely met a lot of really interesting, cool people because of Destiny. And also the art in Destiny, the aesthetic of Destiny, the way the world looks, it's like this intersection between futuristic and like magical and like all these things of contemporary, futuristic, medieval themes all kind of coming together. And I gotta say, I mean, it's definitely an amalgam of so many things, of so many different people's thoughts and opinions and desires. But at the end of the day, I think it's a good game. But I know there's a lot of people who think it's trash, and honestly, like, there's a lot of criticism that's due to that game. So.
I mean, like games aren't made. Aren't made.
You can speak, yeah.
I can speak, just not right now. Not all games are able to be made perfectly, so there's always some criticism, as long as it's constructive criticism, at least.
I think the community has two sides. Neither are really that constructive. There's the fanboys who absolutely would go, you know, Bungie as a creative team could quite literally shit in their mouth, and they're like, delicious. And then there's those people who like call out even the smallest things as like foul play, and they're have unrealistic expectations, and so it's just kind of like obnoxious. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sorry about how slow I'm being with these pictures. I should have formatted them a bit better.
Yeah, it's okay. We all have seen Master Chief with a sniper rifle. I mean, who in the chat hasn't played a version of Halo at some point in their life? I'm gonna guess it's probably a lot. And I would also, I actually just for fun, in the chat, does anyone have a favorite Halo game?
We've got a couple of them since we started the first-person shooter genres. Let's see, started a small dance.
Not brought to you by Crystal Geyser.
Not again with this gag.
Oh yes, it's fine. I love this gag. This is a great gag.
We got one from host going, "I like Destiny and still think it's trash." Oh goodness.
I respect that thing, and I kind of am the same boat. The current version of Destiny, Destiny 2, Destiny 2, the gutted.
Anyone still waiting for Half-Life 3? Yeah.
No.
Surprisingly, I have never played Halo.
Oh my God, Kyle!
Oh.
Get out of the rock. Get out of the rock. Go find yourself an Xbox.
Oh goodness.
Mug a 13-year-old boy. All right, don't mug a 13-year-old boy. But.
No. Bad, Justin. Bad.
But do.
Bad.
Ah! Oh no.
Bad.
Ah! No! It's so horrible. No. Okay. All right. So.
But yeah, I can see like why some people. I can see why first-person shooters are pretty popular. It's kind of fast-paced, and it really works your hand-eye coordination and reflexes.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of benefits to playing first-person shooters that I've kind of seen. Like, first-person shooters, obviously there's a hand-eye coordination thing, but I also think that it gets you prepared for unexpected things, particularly like tactics and making quick decisions. Like, I noticed that, like, whenever I've had to work in, like, the back room at, like, a warehouse kind of situation, having the ability to kind of go, okay, we're gonna split up the workforce so that way we kind of go, you go here, you go here, you go here. It's kind of similar to how in this like game like Destiny, we're gonna complete the mission, and you need to go here, here, and here. And so being able to kind of have the authority and also the foresight to know, hey, this is a good time to go do this, or this is a good time to go do that. It can kind of build up that kind of communication skill and get you more comfortable with delegating tasks. Yeah. I also think that first-person shooters have one other really cool thing that has to go with them. They're a great source of venting frustration. Like if you had a bad day, all right, and I'm talking just a bad day, all right, everything in the world happened that was just wrong, and you went in and you're like, hey, I'm gonna pick up this first-person shooter game, and we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna blow some fucking aliens or zombies or something away. I am 100% certain that it probably at least lowered your level of stress and anxiety brought on by that bad day just a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna go into detail about all that later in the article we're dealing with.
To some extent.
To some extent.
I think it also should be pointed out this too. This episode is going to be a 2-part episode. So today will be an episode, and then Saturday there will be another episode, because I felt that this subject was so cool and so interesting, and the fact I wanted to make sure that we got several key points discussed. So don't fret if the thing that you were waiting for to get discussed doesn't appear in this episode, because on Saturday it will likely get discussed. And if you're worried that it won't be, email us at wickedparley@gmail.com.
Email us at, as you said, wickedparley@gmail.com, or send us a tweet on Twitter at @parley or _parley.
Yeah, it'll be great.
He's like, we do pay attention to that stuff, so
we do.
Send it in.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the chat saying? I can kind of see it kind
we
of.
Got one. Halo's the best. Halo 2 is my fave of the main games. Halo's also on Steam now.
That's interesting.
Somebody's enjoyed Halo 3 quite a bit.
Okay.
Let's see, Halo 3. The truth is the game was okay. Yeah, it feels damn good to get a killing spree.
Yeah. I think this is the time that we're going to go ahead and throw the tournament. We'll call it the Tournament of Tetris. So, for those who have joined us recently and haven't heard, we're going to be having a Tetris tournament. The winner will get to decide next Wednesday's episode topic. And the code should be entered in the chat now. So I look forward to your guys' participation. And so that way you know that we're all doing something that we actually can see. We're going to be randomly selecting games that are being played from our particular group, and we're going to actually throw it up in the corner. So everyone in the chat will actually get to see the game that's being played. So hopefully
we just need a thing. And if anything, if people are interested, I can attempt to play. I say attempt because I'm also going to be talking, which means I'm going to kind of be handicapped here. I can absolutely try. It might be entertaining hearing me just stop in the middle of a sentence and start cursing somebody out here.
She doesn't have that foul of a mouth. She's just full of shit right now. I'm the foul mouth.
Okay, yeah. Between the two of us, you're the foul mouth person.
That's fair. It's fair. It's very fair. All right. So what's the next genre we're going to be talking about here while we get that set up?
Let's see. RPGs and JRPGs.
Okay, I played a little
Do
bit
you
of
want to
both.
go ahead and explain the main difference while I start pulling up the necessary files?
I mean, yeah, I mean it won't take very long though.
I mean, sure, go ahead.
So basically, the J in RPG just means Japanese. So like,
I meant the like the, the main difference in gameplay and whatnot.
but I like hearing you say it.
Okay, fine. First off, we'll go ahead and with a couple of clips here. The first one, let's see. First one, I wonder if anybody recognizes it. We're about to figure it out in a quick second.
Who's that Pokemon? No one knows. Brought to you by another Pokemon that very few people would know. And
Oh
congrats.
no, not the ad blocker.
You got an ad blocker. Yeah, that's right, Hedgehog. The real Pokemon.
The real Pokemon. So that's one type of RPG.
Yeah.
Another one is, here we go.
Name this RPG.
Name this RPG. The person in the middle should be kind of iconic, I hope.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I should specify name this JRPG.
Name this JRPG. Alright.
Does anyone in the chat have an answer for those for the other game?
Let me go ahead and pull up a picture at least. Let me pull up the better looking one here.
Okay, but wait to post it until we see the chat. See if someone guesses it right.
Yeah, sure. Let me. Wrong window.
Yeah, she's juggling a lot of stuff right now.
So much juggle. So much juggle.
Interesting.
Pokemon. Hey, yeah, Kiko. Final Fantasy 13.
Interesting.
Ba-bam. I like.
You got it right. Yeah.
She's looking good.
Yeah. Who doesn't like pink hair? I defy anyone who doesn't like pink hair.
I especially love just the logo itself is very aesthetically pleasing.
I agree. I very much agree with this.
So, why do you think people like playing these RPGs and JRPGs so much?
Well, I think it's because it's just actually entertaining. It draws you in. It's like a cinematic universe that you can just kind of sit down and play for hours and hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there's an engaging storytelling element that's really important for games like this that just draw your attention. I mean, I personally think that another reason why, and I could be totally wrong here, but I'm going to go back to the horny teenager suggestion to say there might be a definite reason for why this particular thing might be, popular.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that it has to do with the fact that there's a lot of world building, a lot of story building that's involved in the games, and
Yeah,
people who are diehard fans of the franchise probably they understand a lot of little details that slip past some people, and so some people might have fun with just the notion that hey, this is kind of cool. Now, Pokemon Go, is it an RPG? Is it really?
No, it's part of the franchise. So I just wanted to see if somebody would point it out.
Okay, but hey, you know what though? I'm seeing a lot of real Pokemon there.
Like, if it's part of the franchise, they better get that right, at least,
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's like, hey, who's that Pokemon? I could name all of those. I don't think anyone wants me to actually.
Look how tiny Mew is.
I know, little Mew.
He's adorable.
Yeah, but look at that Lugia. He's like about like a munch on that Mewtwo right there. He's like, ah.
I swear they're smaller than they should be.
No, they're way smaller. Way smaller.
They are. They absolutely are.
But then again, I think Pokemon Go, it doesn't belong in the same Pokemon universe.
It's just literally, I think it was essentially a type of cash grab to try and make people walk.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Zephyr, I absolutely agree with you 100%. Like, I mean, it makes sense for why you play RPGs, and absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is an augmented reality game. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go ahead and throw that. Let's find someone who's doing the Tetris tournament right now.
Let's see if anybody is.
No
Not
one?
at the moment.
Nope. You guys have all let me down. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No one
But
wants
yeah,
to
definitely
challenge?
the story aspect is one of the main reasons I play RPGs of any type.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just entertaining. Even if I do side quest a lot.
Yeah. Side quests are kind of like there. Yeah.
It's like sometimes they're good for resource management though. I can't talk, I'm too excited.
It's okay. I mean, everyone's excited. I mean, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about video games. Let's do it. All right, so what's the next genre to go into? So that way we don't spend too much time.
Yeah. Open exploration, so such as like open world exploration, open worlds, essentially.
Okay.
So I think everybody might be able to recognize this. I'm hoping people recognize this one.
I mean, I would be shocking if someone didn't recognize this.
I mean, you never know. People might not have the consoles here.
Okay, seriously though? Like, someone's gotta know what this is.
Like, I hope everybody knows, but like, I'm not gonna blame people if they don't. It's like, hi, bye.
Whenever I see this, I always think, hey, listen. Like, it's like ingrained in my mind.
Yeah, little Navi, don't make me do it. I can do it.
Do it perfect.
Listen.
Oh God, it's pretty close. It's like there's a part of my brain. It's like, oh no, it's triggered it.
I can't get the correct squeak. I can't get the correct squeak for that.
Okay. All right. Well.
The second one is one of my personal favorites.
Minecraft.
Oh, that's dark.
Oh my God.
That's
it's
a pit.
There's a pit right there. All right, that's great.
Pit, just a normal. Just
okay,
a pit,
so
nothing wrong.
so just
hi.
so just
Hello.
jumping out of this. So
Bye.
what exactly about Minecraft do you like?
For me, it's pretty freaking huge. Like, people do a lot of stuff with it. You can play it solo, or you can play it multiplayer. Either one works. This is more of a simplistic, creative game for me. You can go into creative mode, build amazing things, or build something simple. Build a TNT duper to blow up all the way to bedrock. And some of the updates, especially now, they're coming out with a cave update that's really looking pretty, and oh my goodness, I want to play it when it releases, and at the same time I'm terrified.
I've seen some people play Minecraft. I've played Minecraft a little bit now. I am by no means good at that game, by any means, but I did like to make a sacrificial room of sheep where people would, sheep would walk in, and then it would plummet to its death. And then, eventually, with enough sheep corralled in this giant pit, it would detonate, blowing up everything.
Dude, I had a cow breeding chamber that was absolutely inhumane in Minecraft.
Please tell.
It was essentially, there's a little pit, and there's a little water block that I would have them float on top of, and it's just like this 1 by 1 by however deep pit, and they're bouncing up and down. You breed them. The babies fall through the hole into an open chamber below. They grow up, and then you go in and murder them all.
Interesting.
So like, people do stuff like this. There are some creative builds that make me question how much free time they have, but I can't help but just love it either way. What are you trying to do? You need to play the repo. You need to play the repo. Wait.
Success. Inhumane to the absolute maximum. It's great.
Oh goodness. Alright. So there is obviously the Minecraft. Let me find.
I've also seen in Minecraft some pretty interesting things though. Like in Minecraft, I saw someone making an actual working calculator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People are that insane. Goodness gracious. Somebody has made a computer in Minecraft. Somebody has made a calculator in Minecraft, and somebody has made it to where in Minecraft they've created a hologram thing that actually connects to their webcam.
That is like next level creepy.
I'm like,
no.
no. The coding experience necessary for that is absolutely insane.
Okay. Well, on the subject of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D, I'm supposed to say this now. I'm a huge fan of remakes that are done right. I am really against remakes that don't do it right. And so, I'm curious to hear from the chat. Does anyone like remakes? Does anyone share sentiment like mine, or do they just either hate or love, like hardcore?
Now, when you mention remakes, are you talking like Are you talking about like full overhaul remake, as in they're changing a ton of things about it, or is it like a change up in graphics?
I am specifically referring to when they port over an older game to an updated or newer console. So when they don't necessarily have to buff the graphics, and when they say remake, it's more like they're taking an older game from an older time and putting it on something that's more recent, more modern. Like, I'll give an example. Like, well, we haven't gotten there yet, but there's a game that we're going to talk about that has many versions, and when we get to it, I will explain what I mean by this.
Let's see. Oh, these were a couple of comments from the RPG. I'll go ahead and read those while we wait on your remake question. Let's see. That's Mario. Legend of Zelda, never played a single one though. Rose, you are definitely the type of player who does all the side quests before you ever touch the main storyline. I still haven't finished Pokemon Sword and Shield, dude.
Wow.
Not Nappy. Terraria. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one for like old classic ones. Or not really old. That's like a decent one. That's open world exploration. Hey, Navi, for the last time, the Life Love Society has no one's getting it. Really depends on the remake. From Kyle, from Aaron, we've got Final Fantasy VII to me changed the core gameplay, which kind of lessened the experience for me. Still fun, but not the same.
I agree with that.
Somebody else loves the Final Fantasy VII remake, but they also believe it depends on how much is changed and done.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, do you want to go ahead and check to see if we have anyone in the tournament of Tetris?
Oh, we have one guest. We have one guest.
One anonymous guest.
Yeah.
Waiting for a match?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
it won't even tell me what time they joined.
Okay.
So
You should play the guest.
You want me to play the guest?
Yeah. Play the guest.
Are you sure I'm going to be?
Yeah. Do it.
Are you sure you're going to be okay getting all the files ready and all that?
No, you're going to do that part too. But I'm just.
Are you kidding me? Let me go ahead and get the thing here so I can at least play on the other computer.
Oh wow, she's gonna try and multitask this. This is gonna be hilarious. Okay. Anyway, so what's the next topic? Or the next genre?
Give me a second.
Give you a hot second. All right.
Yes, I do. Oh, that was.
It's done.
All right. Fighters.
Ooh, fighters.
That's the wrong video. There we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and play a couple seconds here. We got this one. Fight!
That's right. Oh, the graphics of this are ridiculous. Oh yeah.
That's one game. Second game.
Legendary. Okay. So, for those who haven't, played during that particular era, I know that kind of dates me, but I remember when those were brand new. And those particular games are huge. All of this more updated version. Yeah. Brought to you by the newer part of the world. Look at that frozen picture. It's like, oh my god.
Change my.
Yeah, it's just gonna be frozen, just like this image. Oh. Alright, anyways. Yeah, so when it came to fighter games, I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of interesting things that kind of goes on to that. I think when it comes to fighters, the way they have transformed from arcade to console, back to arcade, is kind of fascinating. I think that the whole culture that goes around it, because, like, there's a huge culture of people who play or specialize specifically in fighters like this. And I think that the best thing that's about these particular things is that they really develop that fine hand-eye coordination in a way that's different than first-person shooters. Because like with first-person shooters, the hand-eye coordination kind of specializes in depth, but this is more like specific. Excuse me for a second, I can't speak. Specific button inputs and the sensitive timing related to those specific inputs, and so it allows you to kind of get used to perhaps pressing a button really, really fast. And also, if you're playing on an arcade and you have like a joystick, being able to time certain motions in alignment to those particular button presses is real. I mean, I wish I had one in front of me. Like, oh my god, it would be so awesome. But more importantly, it just kind of helps when it comes to the development of those particular motor skills. And although I will say this, there are warnings. Hand cramps are real. Oh my god. Oh, legendary modern fighter. This is Mortal Kombat 11, I think. I want to say it's 11, and it's got a fantastic story. I highly recommend anyone who cares about Mortal Kombat check this out. And if you don't own it, then just watch it on YouTube or something. I mean, hey.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm trying to get into the Tetris thing so we can like have people watch.
Okay.
As I'm about to panic. Okay.
Oh
It's gonna
god.
be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
I'm going to be so handicapped, like incredibly. How does this work?
I don't know.
So, as long as you make sure you copy the URL so you can get back in here. Unfortunately, you are not able to configure your control keys in the game. So what you want to do is you're going to want to click the exit. Well, I'm going to have to remake a game. Well, actually, I've already copied it. It's fine. You'd want to exit the game, hit the back button to get into configuration. And then you can handle all your controls to be custom, guideline, WASD, whatever you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Whatever gives you the tactical advantage over her, because clearly someone's gonna beat her. Johnny Cage.
what the?
Don't worry about it. It's in the chat. Anyways, so back to what we're talking about when it comes to fighter games. In addition to hand-eye coordination, and also, I would say, the ultimate settler of disputes. Let me kiss you. I don't know about you guys, but you know, if you had the opportunity to, hey, one person's right, one person's wrong, we're gonna settle it in a game of Mortal Kombat.
I think because I had to leave.
Okay, so she's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think because I had to leave the room, it
It's a new
essentially
code.
stopped me from being the host, so I might need to make a new one.
Okay. Wow. We're gonna get this better in the future.
Excuse you, you're telling your host to do this.
Hey, well, you are assistant host, not co-host. Oh my god. Anyways, so not to make things too terribly busy on you, but what are your thoughts on fighter games?
Fighter games, I can see why they're appealing. I know I played them when I was in like an arcade and whatnot. They were it's just a lot of hand-eye coordination and kind of understanding which button combinations and motion combinations worked, which I was never really good at those.
Okay.
But like I can see why people like them. It's a way to also test hand-eye coordination, reflexes for one, because goodness, some fights come down to the frame itself.
Okay. Makes sense.
Alright.
Alright.
Probably many first world problems could be solved by playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be great. I mean, did you settle a debate, you know? There's no need for armies or war. Just, you know, get yourself a very large screen, present yourself with a very, you know, standard console-like device or arcade stick, and world leaders will battle to solve their problems. In Mortal Kombat! No. Oh, great.
So if you're gonna play Tetris with me, forgive me if I end up just freezing in the middle of something here.
Yeah, that would suck. That'd be terrible. So sorry that could happen.
Shush.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful.
Alright, let me see if I can get this screen moving here. Come on. Come on. Move. Okay.
Okay.
This is gonna be difficult for me now. Oh, gosh.
Oh wow, they're just like, they're already kicking your butt. Look at that. So what's the next genre?
I believe it's horror games.
Oh god, horror games.
Let me go ahead and move
The
this
eyes,
one.
those
Here we go.
soulless bastard eyes.
Absolutely soulless.
Oh my god. Like, I understand jump scares are kind of like important, but oh, jeez, come on! Like that's why. That's like I knew it was coming.
Payback.
I knew it was coming, but god damn it, why?
Payback, you little.
This is horrible. Okay, you want to pause now?
I can't frickin'. Sorry, we got this one which doesn't want to play apparently.
Okay, all right. Well, it was Resident Evil. There it is. Yeah, we got some Resident Evil going on there. Look at that. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I just murdered a dog. That's the look of someone
Can
who
you
just
please
murdered a
pause
dog.
that thing for me now?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're coming. All right. So she takes
Oh,
her
you little shite nugget.
takes her Tetris quite seriously. So anyways, back to what we were going before. Okay.
Hmm?
Why do you think horror games are critical? For
Why they're what?
why they're critical?
Credible?
Critical, necessary to
Critical?
yeah.
It's a decent way to deal with fear response, I think, and it's just a way to get, for me,
Oh my god, somebody lost.
What? that I kind of murdered.
Wow! See, look at that. You sacrificed your attention to the show to win a game. How could you do this?
Okay,
Why?
I didn't expect to deal with that. Okay.
Yeah, apparently. Someone went easy. Somebody went easy. Okay.
We can play another one in a bit when I can give more attention here. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, for the Five Nights at Freddy's, let's see. I think there was another. Yeah, the Resident Evil one.
We
Here
just
we go.
played that.
My bad.
We just played Resident Evil.
Let me go ahead and hide this for now.
Yeah. Goodbye, Tetris, for now.
Goodbye, Tetris.
So what's
for
the
now.
next genre we're talking about?
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Again,
honestly,
my
also,
apologies for having to split my attention here, people.
Yeah, before before you jump to the next genre, I
Yeah, sure.
think it's important to say this. Horror games are awesome in some ways, but I think horror games are best experienced with a group of people for the first time. And to me, most horror games lose their replay ability with a few exceptions, and Resident Evil is one of those few exceptions. That's a great game. I can play it tons of times. All of them. The whole genre, the whole series of stuff around it. I think Resident Evil 4 might be my favorite, though. Either that or, and I know this is going to sound weird, but Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. Oh my god. When I first played that, I was like, this is amazing and also terrifying all at the same time.
They're absolutely terrifying. I have played those types of games before. Got slightly traumatized from them. Went back and immediately traumatized somebody else because I didn't want to be the only one to suffer.
So, do you have any questions in the chat? Or
Let's
comments?
see. Not really. Host, don't you dare to steal my host status. Oh, no. Let's see. Probably many first world problems can be solved by playing Mortal Kombat. Beating someone to death in a corner is always funny. Oh my goodness! I love fighting games, but I was never a pro. I think the only one I was ever good at was Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I used fighting
Okay.
games to control my temper in some way. That is fair.
That is a great way to control your temper. In fact,
Yeah.
we're actually going to discuss that in a little bit about how temper and how mood are impacted by playing games. They're a great way to kind of relax and stop perhaps some negative emotions. So yeah, but we'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, good comment.
We've got. It takes a lot for me to get scared of horror games because a lot of them rely on jump scares rather than story and where the scare should be placed. Fair.
I'm gonna agree with you to a certain extent with some of them, but I would say that there is a lot that you may not have played, because I'll say this right now: the VR experience adds a creepy factor to above the normal amount. So oh my god, it's so bad.
There's this one game I ended up watching and played through for a reaction channel, specifically the React channel, and they had a couple of their guests play affected the horror experience, but rather than on the computer, it was on the Oculus Rift.
Oh boy.
And it was nothing but jump scares.
That's crazy.
Jump scares, which will flash on the screen in an already dark environment. You can't get away from that quick enough. No.
Well,
Okay.
let's go to the next genre. What was the next genre we're talking about?
I believe it was a side scrollers.
Oh yes, I love side scrollers. Side scrollers are great.
Oh goodness, I have not prepared any of the videos here. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So when it comes to side scrollers, I have a lot of experience when it comes to these things. I like Donkey Kong Country, all the Super Mario games, just about, with the exception of Super Mario 2, which I will explain in a second. I love Sonic, all the Sonic stuff. Oh my god, the list goes on and on and on and on. Metroid, Castlevania. I mean, just side scrollers are the best. I mean, in technicality, like some things are different, like, you know, genre typings. But oh my god. So Rose, do you have a favorite side scroller?
Side scroller. Mario's always been a classic for me.
Do you have like a specific Mario that kind of stands out, like this is the one I like to play?
I think the one that I'm pretty darn fond of is what was it? Super Mario 3, where everything you could make a theory that it was all a stage, all a play.
Yeah, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That one was.
The Takaniki suit.
Yeah, the Tanuki
Yeah,
suit.
the first appearance of Takaniki. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was my favorite. And okay, I've got the clips. I am not able to do pictures here. Let's see.
You know, speaking of Mario though, just because, you know, why not? I recently acquired from my brother's eBay account Super Mario 2. Now, I do not like this particular game, but I am a collector. And this is a pristine copy. And yeah, it's because technically Super Mario 2 isn't actually Super Mario 2. In Japan, their Super Mario 2 is what we call Super Mario The Lost Levels. And the reason why we got this instead of what was The Lost Levels, which came out much later, was because American players at the time, particularly I think it was like the Nintendo main distributor or whatever, couldn't beat it. He thought it was too hard. And so he was like, hey, you need to make a different game. And so they actually bought the rights of a game that is not Mario and put Mario sprites in place of the characters that were already there and repackaged it as Super Mario 2.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah, I mean, not a good move. I would say that the best thing that came from this is probably Peach's ability to glide, which brought its way into Super Smash Bros. Melee and all the other Super Smash Bros. Titles, which are awesome. And
Shall I
Peach is
move on to
great.
the next clip?
Yeah, go for that clip.
Yeah, we got the second mention of yours.
Yes, this would
Better
be
go faster,
Sonic.
faster.
This looks like Sonic 1.
I believe it's from Sonic 1.
Yeah, it looks like Sonic 1. I'm sure there's a person that I know who may see this video who will cringe if it's wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's from this one.
Yeah, oh my
Sure.
god.
Could be entirely wrong.
Who doesn't love the Sega though? Like just like the Sega, you know, like when they came on, it's like, oh, I miss that so much. Like that's why I own all the Segas. I really do. Like it's.
But yeah, why do you think side scrollers are popular?
I think it's because it's first of all, it's a very casual game, and it's something that is a great introduction to video games to small children. I mean, look at the characters. You know, they're not. This is not an overly sexualized game. You're clearly right. You're not. I mean, let's hope it's not, right?
Don't.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I think Mario and I think Sonic are just really great family-friendly franchises that appeal to a wide demographic of players who are looking for a casual experience. And I think that it makes the most sense that the side-scroller genre kind of like was the thing that defined the early 90s, just because that's when consoles kind of exploded. I mean, Nintendo kind of revised the whole video game thing with the first NES. We can argue a little bit before that, but we're not going to go there. But but they also did a whole bunch of interesting things too when it came to how they marketed stuff, to how they presented games. And yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. I'm sorry, I'm referring to a message I'm getting. But yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the way in which these games are presented, they're definitely a family-friendly sort of thing, and so I think that's probably why they appeal so much, because they're easy, they're not abrasive, they're nothing crazy. Let's combine those last two. But yeah. So, what do you think about it? Do you think that? Sorry, I was gonna say, do you think that you agree with what I say, or do you have a different take?
I'd agree with it, with the exception of the essential timers in the top right corner. They're pretty relatively easy. The only controls you need to do is just the movement controls, and then just understanding what activates what power, depending on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardest part about those for me is just understanding what each power does and how it helps you. But there's only a select number that they can throw at you.
I also really like I mean, although they're a side scroller, they're definitely more modern. Like the recent Super Mario games that require, like, well, not require, but they allow you to play like 3 or 4 people all at once. It's a great way of adding a bit of chaos, and also at the same time learning how to cooperate with a large number of people when trying to achieve a certain set of objectives, which I think is really helpful, especially for like young children. Learning those particular skills, super helpful later in life.
Yeah.
So what's the next genre?
I think we've only got really time for one more genre, but we can talk about a couple on the next episode on Saturday.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk a whole bunch. I'm going to tell you this right now.
There's so many.
We're going to be discussing Metrovania version games like Metroid and Castlevania.
Yeah.
And my favorite, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night.
Alright, so here's the game that is we're going into party games.
Okay, so before we play this, okay, I want to know in the chat, what's the first party game that comes to your mind when you hear the genre party game?
Make sure you get a water break. Where did I put mine?
Oh yes, okay, water break. Okay.
Water break while we're waiting for these responses, because
okay.
it's like I know what I hear. I know what I think about when I hear party game.
Not brought to you by Crystal Geyser.
Oh, I dropped everything and everything. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Topple it down.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna guess no one wants to say it. Oh my God! Not the Bible game.
Wait, what?
We'll talk about the Bible game on Saturday.
Oh.
I promise you that much.
You're gonna have to explain that to me. Mario Party.
Wow.
Mario Party.
Triple Mario Party.
Triple Mario Party, like right away, like.
I'm gonna say that 100%. I agree with you 100%. Mario Party is the first thing that comes to my mind, and because you got it correct, it's also what we put up. Of course, this is, in my opinion, the worst of the Mario Parties, which is the most recent Mario Party. So, if you're hearing me, Nintendo, make a better Mario Party. All right? Take a little bit of Mario Party 7, a little bit of Mario Party 5, and a little bit of Mario Party 9. Mix them together and show us a good experience. Yeah, but party games are great though. They're not just Mario Party isn't the only one. Jackbox party games is another great particular set of
oh yeah,
party
especially
games.
if you don't have a console.
Oh yeah, and I think the greatest thing about party games is this: they are 100% anybody can play. I've never played a video game before. Here's a party game. We're all gonna play a game. Great time. And it's a really great way to be able to expose people to a wide variety of games and also be a stress relief. You know, everyone has bad days. This is a great way to not, die sometimes. I mean, being able just to kind of have some fun, awesome. Is what people should do. You know, it's my particular opinion.
Just Dance, another party game. That one's pretty fun. Kind of more active. That's pretty active. Mm-hmm. It's kind of fun watching everybody make a fool of themselves, including myself.
I mean, another great party game that I like are like the Sing Star games, where all just like karaoke. I'm all like, I will sing so bad, so bad, but I will have a great time too.
I think another reason why these party games are popular is not only because of the social aspect, but some of the party games, especially jackpots, can get heck chaotic for one.
Chaos, yes.
I have literally there's a certain game in the Jackbox party games called Quiplash. I forget what the prompt was, but I mentioned a shiny shiv, because I was in a violent mood that day.
Oh my god.
That phrase just kept coming back no matter the prompt, just to like mess with me.
Oh my god.
Yep.
All right. So, what do you think are the benefits of a party game?
The benefits of a party game is just, for me, having a social aspect that is fun, allows people to be chaotic, and for the most part, there's a goal, whether that is to work together or to mess each other over.
Ah, okay.
It's also a way to get, I think in the past I've actually used party games to deal with arguments.
Settle dispute, party game.
Pretty much, especially in Super Smash Brothers, like Kyle has mentioned.
Okay, hold on a sec. Super Smash Brothers is... Alright, I'm gonna say this, it might be divisive, but I do not believe Super Smash Brothers is a party game. To me, Super Smash Brothers is a fighter game.
It is.
And so, like, it's not really a party game. It's more like a bloodthirsty, all-out battle royale of destruction. And I will use the power of King D2D.
Oh my goodness.
And his magnificent pink robe. With that particular color genre.
Yeah. Let's see. For Super Smash Brothers, it is a fighter game to me, but it's also just like I only play Super Smash Brothers when I'm with my friends or at a party.
Okay.
Which is why I would consider it a type of party game. It's just it's a fighter game that can be played in party scenarios type of things.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair to
Which,
say.
you know, it's like genres, they mix and match. Yeah, games mix and match. I can't think of one off the top of my head that is purely one genre and one genre alone. That doesn't mix and match with other ones in some aspect or form. But that's just me.
Okay. Well, let's see. First of all, what's going on in the Tetris tournament? How's it going?
Yeah, everybody's kind of left.
They kind of left. Okay.
Left because there is a disconnect thing, which I don't mind.
Okay. Okay. All right. So.
Thank you to the person who got to play.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for participating. I know that was kind of a challenge. Okay.
It's funny you say that. A coworker of mine said that he and his sister would settle arguments with Mario Party. Oh goodness. Some of those games last forever.
Yeah, they can.
Anything can be a party game if you try hard enough with that logic. Fair.
Yeah, that's a very fair statement. That's kind of what my thinking is.
Yeah, so like, that's why I say like genres are kind of iffy when it comes to games because you can mix and match them.
For sure. For sure.
Okay.
All right, so let's go on. What's the next thing we're going to go into?
We're going to go just slightly because the article's good, but goodness gracious, there's way too much jargon.
All right, so let's go ahead and throw the article up there, and we'll slowly go down while I kind of break
Here, let
this
me
down.
go ahead and adjust the size here.
Yeah. Thank you.
For her.
Okay.
If anyone's interested in reading this thing, I will put it in the description.
Okay, so I'm not sure how many people, before we even go into this, let me just kind of like go over the basic concepts here.
Yeah, go for it.
So, for years, I was told by a wide variety of people, including some professors, that violent video games create an atmosphere that promotes violent actions. And for the longest time, I was like, this makes absolutely no sense. And I heard recently from a friend of mine a great analogy, which I'm going to share with you guys, that essentially says something to the effect of, you know, if I play Tony Hawk, I'm not instantly a skateboarder, all right? If I play Sim City, you know, I'm not some sort of like controller of all people. You know, if I decide, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go play like a fighter, all right? Like I'm playing Mortal Kombat. I'm not going to be able to suddenly just go, I know how to throw a punch because I played a video game. Like it's just this concept of taking what you do in a game and saying that it's going to be applicable to the real world is a way of thinking that makes sense in the past if you were studying and you were training to do something specific. But a game doesn't follow the same types of thinking. And as such, it's not like it conveys necessarily the knowledge like that you would need to actually execute specific tasks. And as such, it was my original thought process that it didn't make any sense. And this particular, we'll say article, actually expresses the exact sentiments that I felt, and it goes into great detail. Now, there's a whole bunch of weird words that psychologists use all the time, and there's statistical data that's used to describe certain specific values when it comes to estimates, and it gets all really confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the abstract real quick, and I'm going to have Anne read up to, well, actually I'm going to have Anne read the whole thing. And then from that particular thing, we're going to scroll down slowly through each thing, and I'm going to highlight the things that matter. And for some of the jargon stuff, I'm going to explain it in a layman's terms, so that way it's easier for everyone to understand. And if anyone has questions in the chat as we go through it, please go ahead and throw the question in there, and we'll get to it. But we'll get to it at the end of the article, so that way you guys know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just reading the abstract.
Yeah, go ahead and read us the abstract.
Sure, sure.
And also, before we start with that particular thing, though, just understand the abstract is basically a summary of everything the article is going to discuss. So, in case anyone was wondering, what's an abstract? That's what that is. Just a summary of what it is.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, go for it.
All right. Abstract. It is a widespread concern that violent video games promote aggression, reduce pro-social behavior, increase impulsivity, and interfere with cognition as well as mood in its players. Previous experimental studies have focused on short-term effects of violent video gameplay on aggression, yet there are reasons to believe that these effects are mostly the result of priming. In contrast, the present study is... Okay.
For those who don't know what priming is when you take a specific group and you dictate certain terms that manipulate the results in a way that creates the outcome you're trying to predict. Continue.
In contrast, the present study is the first The present study is the first to investigate the effects of long-term violent video gameplay using a large battery of tests spanning questionnaires, behavioral measures of aggression, sexist attitudes, empathy, and interpersonal competencies, impulsivity-related constructs such as sensation-seeking, boredom-proneness, risk-taking, delay discounting, mental health such as depressivity or anxiety, as well as executive control functions before and after 2 months of gameplay.
Okay, we can pause there. The rest of it is going to kind of break down the way in which they conducted the research, and it isn't necessary to read through to get the general gist. So I'll have you stop right there.
Do you want me to get rid of the article on the screen, or should I
Oh, no, we're scrolling down through the article. But I just want it to be understood that like that's what the abstract is trying to assess, and just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Before, when they were first studying video games, the reason why they were studying it was because I think it was like in the early 90s, there was a bill that was put forth by a group of people that I want to say were like the Mothers Against Violent Video Games of America or something like that. And it was a whole bunch of, well, I don't want to sound terrible, but like there's no other way to say it, white, upper middle class individuals with a certain mindset about how things should be in life, and wanted to take that particular viewpoint and dictate terms to everybody. So that way everyone had to conform to what they believed was the right way to go. And I mean, ultimately it was swatted down, but it was a close call. And as a result of that particular lawsuit, it's why we have the rating system the way it is currently set up in games today as a preemptive measure against actions like that, which kind of sucked because it kind of has affected the way games are designed. And I know it was a big deal in the transition period from about 98, 99 to early 2000s, because that's when graphical capabilities started to noticeably go upwards, and you started seeing a lot less blood in games, particularly on Nintendo-based products, because they were trying to be more family-friendly and get that lower rating. And it really affected the pool of games that certain consoles could distribute. And that's how come you got to this situation kind of today, where you get the PlayStation and the Xbox are seen as more mature rated themes, and you start seeing Nintendo have more of a a family-friendly theme. Although, to be fair to Nintendo, they're changing that because it's clear that sales are, when you restrict your market, you restrict your revenue, and that's bad. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and scroll down. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into that big old spiel there. I just want to make sure it's very clear to everybody about why this matters. And I hope this information is helpful for you guys, and that we can have a good argument that the next time someone says violent video games make you a violent person, you can go, nah, we got this article here. And it's a very well-credited article, by the way. I should point that out.
Let me know if it's stopped, because I'm also going to be taking a look at the comment section here.
Sure, of course.
We got Musketeer saying the violent video games causing real violence.
Pause. But continue what you're saying. Just pause.
The violent video games causing real violence argument still doesn't make sense. The evidence suggests that novices who play violent video games get frustrated, and that gets measured as violence because most studies use novice participants. It's a huge confound from Kyle. We've got people use video games as an outlet for their emotions and use that as an excuse to blame games for the problem from Aaron.
Okay. I would agree with all of what you guys are saying, but I think it's important to put this into the context of when, where, and who is being studied. So it's important first to recognize that the individuals in which they chose to study, these studies were first conducted in the early 90s, and the games that were played during those particular time periods, for the most part, were conducted in 4 different strategies, like 4 different types. You got your RPG genre type, all right? This is like your early version of Final Fantasy, like 1 through 3. You would have had like some sports genres, and you would have had racing games, and then you would have had fighter games outside of the obvious platformers. And a lot of people gravitated towards those fighting and racing games, and because of this particular proclivity or specific desire that people wanted, they took a look at the groups that were playing those particular games the most, and that demographic happened to be teenagers, roughly from the ages of about 13 to about 17. And mostly of those teenagers, there were mostly men or boys. And so when they first took those set of samples, you got individuals who are hormonal, who are not in the ways of the world. Also, at a time in the early 90s, this was, internet existed, right? But like it wasn't like it was now, and it was much more restricted to who was on it and how you could communicate. And so you didn't really have a lot of communication. So people, when they were talking to individuals, you were talking to your friends, you were talking to maybe some adults here and there, and that was about it. And if you got information outside of that, it came from news, magazines, that kind of thing, what we consider traditional media sources. So yeah, when it came to this, you were very in a box. And so, yeah, absolutely, when you measure the particular values, of course you're going to find that, yeah, people are going to be a little bit more aggressive, because that's the genre that's typically aggressive in anything that they do, regardless if they're measuring for video games or something else. So that's the first thing. And then they eventually expanded out the sample sizes to larger demographics and for slightly longer. So instead of it being like a day, it became like a week, then 2 weeks, then like a month, then 2 months. And then the groupings, they started with just pretty much adolescent, kind of teenage range, white, middle class or upper middle class. That's the particular group they were studying. Then they expanded it to a wider set of demographics, and they found that their findings were kind of similar, but they were also looking at the same typical set of stuff, which is the same thing that's represented in anyone doing any sort of competition. And because of that, you have that same problem re-popping up. And then it was relatively later that they started to expand out the focus and start to include a bunch of different stuff. And they found that it didn't matter if you were playing a violent game or a family-friendly game, that the emotions were still felt. And that was the first clue that their whole concept was wrong. But there was a really large basis for a really long time when it came to organizational psychology and behavioral psychology that said that this was really the case. But it was because of, I think, poor testing and not fully vetting the various structures of the test that they were conducting. And honestly, I think that there was a good chance, and this is sort of a conspiracy. So, if you say that's just an opinion, this part is going to be opinion based. Is that I think that there was a group of individuals paying money into certain political parties lobbying for video games to be severely restricted into what they could do because they have feared that it was going to offend the Christian narrative. And when that failed, there were groups that were part of this Christian group that developed what they call Christian-friendly games, which is the reason why there's a game called the Bible game, which we'll show some video of and some stuff on Saturday. So I hope you guys look forward to that. But yeah, so the reason why I wanted to stop on this particular section of the article, why it matters, is because there's some basic terms that are used in the paragraph. It's not important to necessarily read through, but it's important to understand that there's statistical values, like that talk about, like right there it says maximally 2H, and then it says, you know, inside parentheses it says mean equals 22 minutes, you know, and it says median equals 15 minutes. This is how field notes are conducted. Can you see like how crazy it is? Like how easy it could be confused when you have that as your data point entry? You're effectively saying for 2 hours, and then they're calculating the average amount of time spent playing something or experiencing a certain emotion. You could flip-flop that really easily when inputting the data, and there's a whole lot of error that could happen. And typically you have like 1 or 2 researchers taking a sample of 15 to 100 people, and often they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. So the first 20 or so are going to be pretty accurate, and then as time goes on, it starts to have a little more errors in it. And so it can really affect the results of how this stuff is conducted. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit right there and kind of show what that looks like, so that way when we get more down, I can actually show some of the more mathematical stuff that really is honestly a nightmare to look at. And so it also doesn't say very much, and hopefully I can explain it a little bit. So go ahead and start going down just a little bit. All right, so this
text.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, if people want to read it, go ahead and read it. What it really is trying to break down is it's trying to discuss how they gather their information, over what period they were using their information. They were utilizing data collected from a wide-ranging groups and demographics, both men and women, and both outside of the atypical age ranges that were being associated. Because typically right now, you have people as young as like 3 years old playing games, or sometimes even younger, and people going all the way up into their 50s playing games, and even older. But like, there's a large population of individuals that are playing games around the 50s and then all the way back today. And that's a huge demographic, and so to make wide sweeping simplifications and examples of saying that this is just going to be everybody is just wrong. And I think everyone who's hearing this goes in their gut, they're like, yeah, that's wrong. What are your thoughts on hearing this, just like so far?
Just in general?
Yeah.
About the whole violence. I honestly kind of agree with Aaron earlier, where he mentioned that people just blame games for the problem. It's like, it's not. Yeah, like, video games can get people frustrated, which make them be a little more aggressive and violent, but only for like a couple seconds until they calm down. For the most part, it's small stuff. It's nothing like lethal like they accuse video games of being able to cause, at least from what I can tell.
I personally would much rather someone lose their shit in their house, throw a controller across a room, scream and yell at a television, than go out into the street and beat someone down. You know? Yeah,
absolutely.
Like I think that like that's a much healthier approach. I mean, if we're going to look at it from a perspective of, okay, this isn't going to cause you to go to jail, you're not hurting or harming someone or someone else's stuff, you know, this is a much better way to approach it than the alternative.
Yeah, like Kiko mentioned earlier, they were using a fighting game to deal with their temper, and I find that amazing. It's great. It's a good way to go about it. It's just safer.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, 100%. Yeah.
So for me, it's just the people who blame violence on video games, they're just using it as an excuse because it's convenient. It's not getting to the root of why those particular people are being so aggressive. Like, there's something they're just blaming video games because it's the easiest target.
One of the things that I really appreciate about this particular article, which is going to appear when it comes to this, and I don't mean to kind of go off topic a little bit here, but I really want, I just noticed this, and like, well, when we stopped right here, which is something that I hadn't seen before, but I really appreciate the fact that it says 90 healthy participants, all right? It's somebody whom they have psychologically evaluated to be healthy, but I don't say that in a negative way. And I also really like the fact the average age is 28. So mean equals average, and that's what that means, in case someone didn't know. And so when you have the mean as 28, you can see that the age range is 18 through 45 of 48 females that were being tested in this particular group. Now, that's a pretty decent age range, and I'm really glad that they separated the sample. Because it's great because you can then compare and contrast to see if there actually are true differences. And if you do that, then you'll find that the average difference isn't by a noticeable margin, which in my particular opinion validates certain opinions that positively say video games don't do any harm. Anyways, I think we'll scroll down just a little bit more. Okay.
Just let me know when.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some math jargon up there. That's not really all that important. I want to try and get to the very bottom of this. Go to the very bottom if you can.
Just fast scroll?
I think that's the very bottom right there, right?
I think so. I think the rest of it's a ton of references, like a ton.
Oh yeah, it's a whole bunch of references that we're doing stuff like SimCity, GTA, and stuff like that. But there's this thing called a factorial ANOVA. It's like imagine like a bell curve on like a chart. It's a way of measuring certain data points that allow you to collect very specific information about something you're studying. That's the simple way of saying what all of this jargon here is. All the mathematical stuff you see where it says GTA and then there's parentheses and it says T51, all that stuff right there. That's the math terms that are basically expressing the factorial ANOVA that is trying to measure the exact percentages or closely measure the percentages of certain attitudes and behaviors that were collected in the course of studying this. And what they basically found out was that there was no clear distinction between someone performing a violent action in a video game and someone performing a mundane task in a video game. The overall reaction was about the same, and that the emotions that are typically felt by a person when they're playing through a game, it typically allows them to have an outlet, which is something that's clearly been felt by people in the chat already, especially I think it's Kiko, that they don't have to take that anger or frustration or anxiety or worry or stress out on themselves necessarily or someone else. They can take it out on the game. And I think the final result that matters when it comes to all this stuff is this. Well, final thing to take away from all this stuff, not really result, but just take away from this whole article is this. If someone comes to you and says that because this person's playing GTA, that they're going to, the next morning, they're going to go steal a car. Just tell them, no, you're an idiot. You're absolutely 100% incorrect. Because the person who steals the car is only going to do it because of some outside factor, and them playing a game has nothing to do with actually doing this particular crime. And so here, I'm going to throw this in your face. Here's the article. Go learn something. You know, get these people some knowledge. You know, that's what I'm going to take away from this particular thing. That's what I hope that you guys take away from it at the end of the day. That's pretty much what we're going to discuss for today when it comes to the overall episode. There will be a sequel to this, though we're going to go into more stuff. We're going to talk about, as I mentioned, Castlevania, Metroid. We're going to talk about sports titles, racing titles. We're going to talk about some of the other things that are involved. We have another article that we want to share with you that we think is really fun, really interesting.
A lot less technical than this one.
Huh?
A bit less technical than this one.
Oh yeah, a lot less technical. There's also a whole bunch of questions that we plan to ask each other and ask you guys. And so we hope that we'll get some more participation that way. I'd also like to say thank you very much for participating today. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you for just being involved in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. If you liked what we did today, hit us the like button. If you have anything to say or any comments or questions, feel free to send us a question or throw a comment in the video, or just contact us. And I really want to hear back from you guys. I really want the feedback, so I really encourage you to let me know what you guys think. And do you have any other last thoughts when it comes to the particular stuff? I know don't worry, we're not going just yet. We're gonna get to the questions. Don't worry, that we might have for the article, because I know there were a few. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. But I wanted to get your last few thoughts on things, Rose.
Just really, there's nothing really besides just keeping an open mind as to any of these accusations, claims. Why they're so easy to blame video games. Like, is it just because it's an easy target? Is it something they're trying to avoid because they know the truth but they don't want to admit it? Da 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 da. I mean, like, that could also be a reasoning.
I mean, I agree with that to some extent. I mean, I definitely think that the main reason why that people blame video games for problems is because they're an easy target. Because it's a lot harder to fix the actual problems that are in society that are creating the circumstances. It's a lot easier to point the finger at video games and go, you're the problem, you're the reason why this is not working. It's not because we didn't fund the inner city, it's not because we're not supporting education, it's because of those damn video games. I mean, that argument is so easy to make, and it just, kicks the ball down further down the road, and doesn't really help anybody out when it comes to real social problems. And so I think that's really what's going on, and I think that there are people in society that are waking up to it, and I'm happy to see that that's actually happening. So when it comes to questions for the article, were there any, first of all?
No, we've got a comment though.
All right, sure, let's hear it.
Yeah, Kyle's heard that a woman in a lab used friendly fire as a measure of aggression. They pointed out that there is a construct validity problem, and the woman didn't believe them. There are a lot of problems when studying this type of thing.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. When it comes to those particular types of pre-assumed conclusions and things like that, and when it comes to what you're measuring, I think that it's very important that they get measured accurately, and what you're trying to study is separated from what you're trying to, what your personal beliefs might be. And so when it comes to those particular those cases, I'm actually kind of surprised that the American Psychological Association allowed for that particular study to be conducted. Do you know by chance which lab it was?
They did not mention in the thing yet.
Okay. Well, are there any other questions?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
Okay. Well, if there aren't any more questions, then I think we're gonna go ahead and call it here. I want to say just once again, thank you very much for all the support. I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday, and I hope that you guys send me a comment, send me a question. I want to hear your voice. I want to know what you guys think, and so just please, for my own sake, just let me hear some of your own thoughts and stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, apparently a lab at UC Santa Barbara.
Okay. I'm gonna look into that. I'll find out by Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll look into that particular thing. Okay, cool. Well, it's been great. Until next time, this has been your host, Justin. See you in the next one.
We bid you adieu.